the team seems to be playing with so much confidence at the moment. Is that an accurate reflection?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we've been confident, but we're starting to put everything together in terms of being a collective team, you know, being unselfish, working hard for each other. And I think the last 2 games have really shown that with the performances and the results. 2 clean sheets, 7 goals. So against 2 opponents, which are one above us in the table and one right next to us. So I think it's credit to the boys and credit to the staff and to the whole club.
That must hurt, 5-0 at Chelsea.
Yeah, we've had 1 or 2 this season which have hurt just as much as this one. Today's was sore. We'd done a lot of things wrong today generally. Mainly sort of doing your own jobs, doing the jobs correctly. If you'd done the jobs correctly, then we wouldn't have been so bad. I was livid with the goals we've given away, people not in the right positions, not doing the jobs well enough. We're just lacking a real mental toughness when we've needed it. We've shown some really good performances. The team that we played today drew 2 each against Liverpool last week, so it would come here and put in that sort of performance. So there's just a couple of ingredients missing which we have to try and fix.
It's a win that lifts you up to 7th. You've got 3 games to go, but if you can carry on in that vein with that kind of confidence, you must be very optimistic about qualifying for Europe next season, which would be a real bonus after 1 or 2 bumps in the road this season.
No, of course, always all the process when you build a team have up and down, and for all the circumstances, I think we delayed a little bit the evolution of the team. Now we arrive in a very good momentum, and important is to really believe.
You don't score many headers, do you?
No. I don't really score headers. To be fair, it kind of hit me, but you take them ones.
You were through perhaps to get your second, but you decided to pass it to Nicholas for his first of the day. Was there ever a moment in that move that you thought, I'm going to go myself here?
To be fair, when I went through, I didn't see him until the last minute. You know, he's like flash. He just came out of nowhere. So of course, when I seen him, it's like pass it and just everyone celebrate together. We win.
He's a good interview, isn't he? And he was impressive on the pitch. And in fact, when Chelsea had been searching for combinations in various places this season, Palmer and Madueke really clicked together.
Yeah, it was a joy to watch them today. I know West Ham weren't great, but we've highlighted both of them. They played with such freedom and such confidence, and they had one thing on their mind, and that was to attack, to score. I like that goal from Cole Palmer. He holds his space. Here we see him getting on the boards, playing a little 1-2, slaps that into him there, and this is the goal from Gallagher. But what a pass from Palmer again. Madueke, he just looks so dangerous at the minute. He wants to come inside, he's looking to get his shot off, and he's going to get it off somehow. That one doesn't go in. This is just 2 players with real confidence. Just a nice little flick there, and that's when you're confident, you're trying all these things round the corner to his mate who's down in the channel. Now Cole Palmer's got an ability to slow the game down at his pace and then chop and then speeds it up across. That should be a goal. Gallagher obviously hits the crossbar. This is Madueke's goal. It shows great strength there. It seems like a simple finish, which it is in the end, but to buy himself that yard of space was really good. Great run inside, and then I really like that because he could have shot himself, but he gives Jackson, his mate, a goal. And here we see, again, Cole Palmer just breaking the West Ham press. I mean, that's on the edge of his box. He's playing with supreme confidence there. Yeah. Gets on the ball, never in a rush, comes inside.
It's effortless for him.
Yeah, really, he just slows the tempo down to his pace, and then now we go fast. So now he's looking to go straight at the fullback again, gets his shot off. Good save. They was at it all day.
Yeah, I think Madueke is a great example of improvement this season. I saw him a few times live earlier in the season. He was coming backwards a lot, didn't have the confidence.
Look at that for a ball.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that really is unbelievable. I was just going to say about Poch's influence on younger players. He's obviously been working with him. He doesn't need to work with him. He turned up a genius. Well, he could go on to great things, Cole Palmer. He makes football look easy, and as Ash said, joy to watch. But Madueke's improvement, and some of the other players actually, not just him, but his improvement has been a real plus for Chelsea, and credit. And I think Poch deserves credit for that.
It goes back to patience, which is what we've said all along, haven't we?
Yeah, Chelsea are looking like a legitimate outfit. It'd be really interesting to see what they do next season. Today they went with Cucurella next to Caicedo in the build-up, which I think gave those 2 players a lot more freedom. But I'm enjoying watching Chelsea at the minute. They're playing some really good football.
Patience, one of your strongest traits?
Well, absolutely, yes. I mean, you know, I'm very well known for that, Daniel. Right, let's...
As am I.
West Ham fans are not patient at the moment.
No.
You can understand why. Just looking at some of their London derbies this season, I mean, they're the number of goals they've conceded overall, joint level with 2010-11, and there are still 2 games to go. But in 3 London derbies, they've conceded 5.
Yeah.
In 1, they've conceded 6. As a fan base, that's not acceptable.
I think capitulation of teams in games is a big concern for fans, and it's unlike Moyes' teams, who are generally well organised defensively. They look like a team who have a lack of legs. Now, that could be from the amount of games they've played in Europe and the smaller squad they've got, but I think it needs refreshing. I mean, it's unlikely David Moyes is going to be there, but there's a few members of that squad who probably need to move on and have a refresh and re-energise, because they are leggy.
And it was unacceptable today. I think there's a lot going on with the manager, but as a professional, I think that their performance individually and as a team, it's not acceptable. They didn't get up to Chelsea. They didn't put pressure on them. It was as good as Chelsea were. West Ham made it easy for them to cut through them.
I suppose it shouldn't affect them on the pitch, but if you don't know what's going to happen with your manager who's coming to the end of the contract and there are all rumours swirling around, you're sort of treading water, aren't you?
You can fall into that, yeah. I have been around that. But I think, realistically, you should be going the other way, because there's a new manager coming in who might not fancy you.
Yeah.
And he's watching every game. So, if anything, you should be trying to... You're on show, you know, you're on trial. But too many of them look like they've already switched off for the season. It was a really bad performance.
Jacob, where you go?
So you must be delighted with another big home win.
Yeah. So pleased. I think so happy. Continues the same feelings after Thursday. Keep the momentum. I think the performance was fantastic in all the aspects. I think, yes, so please, the player deserve big credit, you know, because after a few days to play again and in this level, I think massive credit for them.
Liam.
Okay.
In another interview, Madueke just said that in the last 2 games, Chelsea have been unselfish and really worked as a collective. What's changed?
No, yes, I think the assist for Noni to Jackson that showed that we learn, that we are smart. The situation with the penalty, if you remember again, Everton, you know, we received too many criticisms, but a young team always need to make the mistake. Always we need to feel this situation to improve. If we are capable to improve, it's because we are smart and clever people and intelligent people. I think today was a great, action of Noni to see how the group start to live and how start to feel in between, them. And I think it always is a process that take time. You never know if it's going to take 1 month, 6 months, or 1 year. But I think the most important thing that they start to settle the principles, to start to feel and live like a group of players that creating all the links to compete, because that is the reality. I'm so pleased for that, because I think we are part of this process, helping them, to grow and to be more mature and to improve in all the aspects. I think that is only the first step, massive step, but this is the step that we wanted to reach. From there now is only, to evolve in all the another aspect, with the possibility to go in a tactical, evolution, different things that we can improve from there. But if not without principles or without, things that we start to show being competitive in this way, it's impossible to evolve in another aspect. Okay, thank you.
There were a few times during the season, and maybe especially at home, when the team was playing very well, they made scores first, and once the opposition scores or equalizes, it seemed that mentally the team was like dropping intensity or playing more in your own half. And the last 3 games, because I would say also Aston Villa, you scored the second one, you went for the third one. Against Spurs, you scored first, you keep pushing, you keep like you look at like absolutely in control of your team. Today the same, scoring after 3, 4, and the team always looked in control and wanted more. That change is because it's part of the process. It's normal to reach this stage, or because you feel that finally your players are like maturing also mentally, not just football-wise. Just your opinion.
What I can add more? That's perfect. Yes, of course. Who I think knows about football is when in all the process to build a team is the most difficult thing, because you need to have the knowledge and you need to have the capacity, to emphasize with every single player. Because before to talk about the collective is the individual part of the most difficult thing, because they need to feel the confidence, they need to trust in us, in the staff, in the coaching staff, and we need to create this bond together. That is the most important thing. And then you need to start to identify the player that in different aspect what they need for after to perform and to show the quality inside to the pitch. All this process always takes time. More with the circumstance that we had from the beginning of the season, that never was perfect in terms of to have all the players in the same time, in the same level, competing and trying to improve quicker than the reality was. And then to work with expectation. That expectation from the beginning. The expectation is like if you compare with the competition. The competition doesn't wait for you, because you need to compete with the Premier League, with the team that are preparing to come here and kill you. And the expectation is impossible also to fight again, or to be because the expectation is expectation, but and then you need to defend yourself, or after you need to explain, but always is going to be in front to you. They say, yeah, but that are only are excuses because you don't perform. But who knows a little bit about football? When the team is young and with all the parts, you need to put all together and to start to work into everyone, find their space and start to feel really confident. That is the most difficult thing and always take time. Now I think, and I told you, I think a few weeks ago, I say I am so happy because I think we are so close, to be in that position. That is first step that after Tottenham, I told you, in the way that we compete was fantastic. And then to keep this momentum, and I think the team is growing so up very fast now, because that is the standard, the minimum standard that we need if we want to compete in this league. But now it's like the maturity of Noni. Rather to be selfish and to play and try to score him, give the assist to, and this type of thing, when it start to appear, on the team, is a very positive signal, that the thing were tough to arrive here, but now it's like everything is going so fast, and it's going to be fast because we have the quality.
Jack? David, just your thoughts on that performance, first of all.
Too many poor things within the game. It's happened several times this season, which I've certainly not enjoyed. I didn't enjoy today at all. Players not in the position, running out of positions and opening up too easily. Just for a bit of context, I actually thought the second half at least we made it harder for them to score, but we gave away 2 ridiculous goals in the second half. Two terrible goals for notwithstanding what happened in the first half. So, not good. Lacking toughness, leadership, mental toughness. We've now had 2 games we've come away, we've conceded 5 in the games. And look, the manager will always take the responsibility. That's what happens when you do this job, because you have to prepare them and get them right and set them up. Somewhere along the line, the players have to take responsibility. They're doing the jobs and being hard to play against and being aggressive and competitive. And I question if we were all that in the first half.
How frustrated are you by the way the league form slipped away a bit since getting knocked out of Europe, because there was still a chance there?
Yeah. I mean, you've got to say this is the exact same team which we had 2-2 with Liverpool last week, so you've got to be careful. And I've got to be careful to say, because let's be fair, this is a team who's been 6th, 7th, 8th probably the whole season. So you can do it one way. You can be Chelsea, who've been not so good all at the start and they're coming really good at the end of the season, or we've started the season really well and just beginning to fade away. Maybe because of, as I said, the extra 12, 14 games and what other teams have played might have a part to play on it. But overall, we've not been in as good a form since probably the African nations, because Pundits and Naif, and we're without a couple of centre halves at the moment, so which may have helped in some of the games. But there's no excuse. We're only trying to give maybe some reasons for some of the poor performances.
Is there a mentality thing there as well? Do you think, or distraction given the current situation?
I don't think anything like that one bit. No.
There've been a few of these big away defeats this season, which didn't really happen in previous years. Why do you think it's happened this season?
Declan Rice. You get the best midfield player in the country, protecting, making sure that the moments at times, probably limiting 50% of maybe the attacks in the moments. When you get that, then it makes you a much better defensive team. We've lacked protection in front of the back four. We've lacked good enough defending. We've just not been good enough at those things on many games. But as I said, you've got to be careful. You're talking about a team who've been sitting in the main lane in a really, really strong position. Had a couple of bad days away from home. We have to try and eradicate that and make it better.
David, it feels like this season might just be fizzling out a bit. Is that disappointing, and do you hate that?
I think you'd have to say we're hoping. No, nobody. It's a word. It's an easy word to use to say to the managers. But really, we're all trying to win every game because we all want to finish as high up the league as we possibly can. But I think that we've put in a pretty good effort. As I said, I agree. We've not been quite as good since probably. I'm using the African nations as a sort of guide of a timeline, really, more than anything. But I do think that we put in some really good performances in the early part of the season. We've had a good season in Europe again. So it's been okay. But I'll use your word. No, we don't want it to fizzle out because we want to try and be in there challenging, and we want to try and get as many points as we possibly can.
So that's Mauricio Pochettino. Now, very interesting press conference from David Moyes afterwards, asked why it is that on so many occasions this season, West Ham have conceded so many goals in games.
There've been a few of these big away defeats this season, which didn't really happen in previous years. Why do you think it's happened this season?
Declan Rice. You get the best midfield player in the country, protecting, making sure that the moments at times, probably limiting 50% of maybe the attacks in the moments. When you get that, then it makes you a much better defensive team.
They've conceded 5 or more goals on 4 occasions this season, and they were all London derbies. Incredible. So today, got thumped 6-0 at home by Arsenal and shipped 5 against Palace and against Fulham as well. But Tim, if he'd said that in October or November, when Declan Rice had only just moved to Arsenal, he'd say, OK. But effectively, at the end of a whole season, and he was asked about it, but he harks back to Declan Rice. That says quite a lot, doesn't it?
Well, it says, like we all do as managers, it's self-preservation. It's
kicking in.
Yeah. He's there is reasons. I mean, he's done a brilliant job, Moyes. I admire the job he's done there at West Ham. They're split. He's not going to stay there, is he? Let's face it, he's going to be away.
Lopetegui's been linked with the job.
Yeah, there's too many links. He's the sporting director. Reportedly, he's not allowed at the training ground. Yeah. There's a lot of disconnect, and it's no good. Yeah, it's no good for the club. But I think it's been created by a lot of noise from the outside, and I think Moyes had to stand up there in front of the camera and protect his professionalism and
his reputation.
And I think it's sad, really, that a man of that experience has to do that. But that's where we are. It's the nature of the game. And he's been in the game longer than all of us put together. I think he'll bounce back. He'll go and get another club and someone who really respects him. Difficult. I hear a lot of people say, be careful what you wish for. And I would say it as well. But I've never, ever paid to watch the David Moyes side play. So them fans are entitled to their opinion. And I really respect football fans for their opinion. But I would say, be careful.
We are. 12 months ago, it was about to lead West Ham to their first trophy since 1980. And here we are. Players didn't help him today, did they?
The players were shocking today. This was the worst one out of all the defeats, the heavy defeats. I thought watching this game and commentating on this game in real time was embarrassing. I mean, there were so many problems. Cole Palmer had a field day today. Edson Alvarez, who David Moyes spoke about when he was talking about Declan Rice being the best, and he is the best. You know, you've got to lock on there to Colton Palmer.
No one's anywhere near Palmer in the whole of that sequence.
Defensive midfield play, you've got to lock on, Mark. It's not hard. You see a blue shirt, you try and get close. You try and anticipate, you look at your marker. They let runners go all over the place. Look, you see Paquetá here. Great when he's got the ball, but a liability. Watch how close Paquetá is to Madueke. Checks his shoulders, right, he's got him. Right, that causes stress on Kurt Zouma, because Kurt Zouma's then got Nicholas Jackson. Yeah. Ogbonna's then no man's land. He can see Conor Gallagher. Paquetá's not done his job. Then all of a sudden the finish is a good one, laces finish. And then, I mean, at one point, Mark, I was commentating on the game, and this is easy. Look at the run that Madueke makes. Just after half-time, you've had a team talk, you've probably got to dress him down, you square on. Look at the gap between full-back and centre-back. Great ball from Chalobah, don't get me wrong, but how easy do you want it to be? You know, you just come off the back of a hefty team talk.
Yeah.
And they were nowhere near at West Ham. It was like they just wanted to play West Ham when they had the ball. This one, I feel sorry for Kurt Zouma. He's a guy that's been training, been playing, suffering with his injuries, but still trying to put his body on the line nearly every single week. But there was one point in the game, me and Joe were commentating on the game, and Chelsea were at 20 passes. And I said to Joe, I went, this will be some goal on commentary. And about 2 minutes later, I went, is this still the same phase? And it was.
They got nowhere near getting the ball off.
70-odd passes, and 4.5 minutes later, before Chelsea had a shot and anyone put a tackle in. When have you ever seen a team in the Premier League play for 4.5 minutes without anyone?
4.5 minutes?
Even I would have had the red mist. I would have launched someone just to try and get something going. But to just allow a team to run all over you, it was by far the worst. And the players that play for West Ham next week, they've in my opinion, you talk about David Moyes, they've got Luton at home, last home game of the season. I'd like to think some of them players will put in a better performance for David Moyes to give him a decent send-off.
Decent send-off, last home game. So we're 8 fixtures down in this Premier League weekend. It all began on Friday with the point for Luton. Both of the top two winning on Saturday, including that 5-star show for Manchester City. Vital win in there for Newcastle and Forest as well. Brighton have beaten Villa by a goal to nil. A 5-star show from Chelsea against West Ham. Their biggest win, incidentally, in that fixture against West Ham United. Very shortly, we're at Anfield. And the Monday night football, followed by final word, is Manchester United's trip to Selhurst Park to face Crystal Palace. So Chelsea are the movers. They're into the top 7, which could be enough for European football. They're above Manchester United on goal difference before they play on Monday, and that is the highest they've been under Mauricio Pochettino. The first time they've been in the top 7 all season. 2 points off Newcastle, same number of games. A little bit of a boost for Spurs before they take to the field at Anfield. No points for Villa. Tottenham could reduce that gap if they were to win for just the second time in 30 years on Merseyside to 4 points.
5-0 today, Nicholas. How much did you enjoy that?
Yeah, very good, very positive from the team, and we were fighting for a clean sheet as well. So thank God we won and we had the clean sheet. It was very important as well.
2 goals for you. Let's talk about the first one. Nani was pretty unselfish with the pass, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's very. I expected that. That's why I was running, because we are very good, close friends and teammates like everybody. So, and if someone scores, it's all for the team. So it was a very good assist from him.
You had to wait a while for the second one to be confirmed. Turns out that run was well timed.
Yeah, I think every time I score, the VAR will try to interfere. But at least today I scored the second one, and it was not offside. I was very happy.
What was key for you today in the win?
Yeah, it was very important because we want to fight to go to Europe, and the key was we went as a team and started from the beginning and fight together, everything together, and we won the game.
Well done today, thank you.
Thank you.
He's up to 13 Premier League goals now. One more than he got for Villarreal last season, actually, in his debut season. We talked about him before the game.
Yeah.
And he got those smart finishes in the second half today.
I thought especially this, obviously, second one, where we spoke about him being calm in those situations. Because there's been loads of occasions where, he's gone through on goal when he's sort of like rushed it. The first one, was obviously a tap-in. So you run over and you thank your teammate. In terms of West Ham, it's poor defending. I think if you're a fullback, you have to be more inside and sort of like outside looking in. But yeah, the first one, it's a tap-in. And the second one was a nice finish.
Emerson's still in the dressing room. 3 minutes into the second half, he's not switched in.
No.
He's come out of that tunnel from the dressing room, and he's just, his position is awful. I mean, it's a good finish and a good ball from Chalobah, but at the end of the day, you've got to show a little bit more than that, especially when you're conceding all the goals they've already done in the first half.
Yeah, he timed his run just about perfectly there, and I often find, don't know what about you, Jermaine, in this type of situation, I think the near post finish is quite an underplayed finish here. Often, you get a big gap at the near post there, and we can see here just onside, times his run pretty well. Caicedo plays the ball through, and it's a nice little easy finish. It's not a hard finish once you make that choice into the near post. So, good day for him.
It was, and a complete opposite day for West Ham and David Moyes. Third time this season they've been hit for 5, and a lot of people saying very un-David Moyes-like. Well, when you look at West Ham have now conceded 70 goals in this Premier League season, and that is the most ever under David Moyes for any team in any Premier League season.
I think that performance doesn't represent West Ham as a football club. When you play for West Ham, and you can't really go toe-to-toe with the other clubs in terms of like how you play, and that performance doesn't represent West Ham. You've got to work hard, first and foremost. At the top of the show, I said the manager's a defensive-minded coach. Well, you like to think if you're a defensive-minded coach, you don't concede that many goals. Against a Chelsea team, good Chelsea team, but, I mean, if you look at the Chelsea team over the last 10 years, it's not like, you wouldn't say it's a Chelsea team that you can go in and concede 5 goals.
They might need a defensive-minded coach now, mightn't they? We were saying before.
With 70 goals
Everyone accuses him all the time of being defensive. Well, they've conceded 70, so they might need to go for one now.
Well, it is a fast-emerging Chelsea team, gathering pace up the table for Mauricio Pochettino.
Mauricio, congratulations. How pleased are you with that performance?
I'm really pleased. So happy for the player and for the staff, and I think they deserve this feeling. And after the victory again, Tottenham, and to confirm after a few days after that great performance, they deserve full credit.
Because to play like you did on Thursday and still have the energy less than 3 days later, I mean, it was a brilliant first half, wasn't it, especially?
No, brilliant game. I think the game was amazing. I think the approach of the game again, the right attitude, the right capacity, to deal, to compete. I told you that after Thursday I was so happy in the way that we compete, and compete in this way. We have the talented player that have the quality to score goals, to create chances, and of course in this way all is possible.
Comprehensive first half display from Chelsea. They lead West Ham by 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. It has been one-way traffic, and we talked about Cole Palmer before the game started. Everything he touches at the moment.
It's because he's a super player. It really is, This is early in the game. Chelsea have been totally dominating. They've not got out of second gear, let's be fair. West Ham have been awful today. They really have. But if you leave this lad in these positions unopposed, he's going to punish you. You cannot leave that. Look at this defending from West Ham. Alvarez has gone in there. He's worried about Cucurella going into that midfield area where he should be actually goal side on Palmer. The centre-backs have got to go back to defend nearer the 6-yard box. That little space there, a midfield man's got to drop into that space. No one near him. And Palmer's, you can't leave this lad there. Look, he just keeps lovely technique, goes for the side, but there's a little bit of a deflection there, but it was going in anyway, to be honest. And West Ham have got to shake themselves up. They really have.
And look at that. Home goals in a Premier League season. He's up to 16. And look at the company he's keeping as well. He's gone above Hasselbank, Lampard and Drogba. One more, and he will have scored more Premier League goals at a season in Stamford Bridge than any other Chelsea player. And, in fact, there's only Erling Haaland who scored more Premier League goals at all this season than Cole Palmer. Conor Gallagher, there's much discussion about him at the moment. Do you think he had this kind of finish in his locker, Jermaine?
I want to say yes. No, but, we speak about that man, Cole Palmer here. Just pass Caicedo. This pass here, people talk about breaking lines, how one pass can cut like 3 or 4 players out of the game, but that finish is not easy. You see players sometimes that will go over the bar, but it's such a controlled finish. But you see the pass here. Of course, you have to engage. You can't give him that sort of time, that quality of player, because he can get those sort of passes. But this finish here by Conor Gallagher is unbelievable. Hits it at its lowest point, right across the goalkeeper. But yeah, Cole Palmer, I mean, he's been involved in everything. You know, he's got his goal and, you know, he's rotating. You know, he's got that freedom to just go and get on the ball and that. But you have to, from West Ham point of view, you have to do better and try and engage and put pressure on the ball.
Yeah, and their marking for the third goal wasn't too good. But you were impressed with the way the corner was run in the first place by Madueke.
Yeah, Madueke did well, didn't he, to win this corner. Even when they were 2-0 up, 3-0 up, Chelsea was still putting really a lot of pressure on them. They were persistent. It looks like they want more and more and more. You see Pochettino's attitude to it. I mean, David Moyes will be absolutely furious. 2 players let their men go. We see Madueke here with Souček on it. Not quite sure why he goes back and drops onto the line instead of just marking him. He would have prevented it. And then, of course, Antonio on the back post. He lets his man go as well. So 2 men letting them go on a set piece. Really poor play. But Chelsea have been absolutely dominant, haven't they? Really one-way traffic and deserve their lead.
Yeah, and Conor Gallagher could have made it 4. I mean, they've been relentless, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think they've just sort of just suffocated West Ham, really. You know, they're controlling positions behind the ball. Anything that drops down, they gain possession. You know, sustain attacks the whole first time. This is such a good chance, isn't it?
Again, there's no... Look at Paquetá's the one there at the deepest midfield player where Gallagher runs into, unopposed, and he should have scored. Let's be fair. I think he's in shock that it didn't actually go in. But that's where West Ham have... They don't look as if they're bothered. It's like, well, you pick him up. And they only come alive.
To your point pre-match about the future of David Moyes.
Definitely. They look like a team that only want to play when we've got possession. Oh, we want the ball. See, that's the easy part of the game. As soon as Chelsea get possession, there's no closing, there's no one screaming to go and pick up on the penalty spot, those vital positions. There's no continuity about their game.
Cucurella's position as well, Glenn, before the game that you highlighted, is that enabling Gallagher to go and make those runs? We saw him score a goal, we saw him could have scored a second. It gives him almost the freedom.
Well, if you go and pick up the people in the central positions, Cucurella being one, Palmer gets spare. If you're saying he's too good to be spare, you slide a midfield player out there, then Gallagher becomes free to get into the box. And he's a great player to get. He just runs off the ball into the box, and that's how he's got his goal. That's where he should have got his second goal.